Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, Connecticut, this is The Pulse.
Hello and welcome to The Pulse. I'm John J. Mudgett.
And I'm Kristen Brunell. We have a great show for you all today.
First, we take a look at a coffee shop that has recently fallen victim to a hateful act. Then, how working from home has become a real pain.
And later, a Sacred Heart student joins us to talk about what she is doing to help the homeless. Finally, we will show you some great places to visit for some summer fun.
Pride and Prejudice. Most people think of the book or movie when they hear those words, but one local coffee shop might have a different take. I went to Molten Java in Bethel to get the story. Molten Java may seem like your typical small-town coffee shop, but just 3 weeks ago this was the scene of a surprising and hateful act. More surprising, however, was the outpouring of support from the community. I sat down with Molten Java barista Derek Peter to get his take on the situation.
This coffee shop, for both its locations on Greenwood Avenue, has always been like a beacon of, it has been a safe space, but it's also just been a meeting house for like different kind of fringe people that are not necessarily queer, but are perhaps socially queer. They have some sort of outsiderism about them, and they can come here and sort of be themselves.
3 weeks ago, two unidentified men stole a pride flag from the coffee shop's porch, burned it, and then returned it to their doorstep. Although the incident is still under investigation, Derek says that the community was quick to show their support.
There's been a lot of donations. There's been a lot of just like what I would call a verbal donation. A lot of people have come in, said, we've never even been here before. We just want to let you know that, we stand with you. All the ones on the lawn were donated. We have more than the porch can hold at this point, which I'm sure you've gotten shots of.
Yeah.
And just other things like trinkets, like people have made us rainbow pride flag, rings and rainbow pride flag bracelets, and some of the younger participants have painted or drawn flags for us to hang up in the shop. So at every level, it's kind of been like a generous kind of outpouring of, we see this, it's wrong, and we stand with you.
When asked which act of kindness touched Derek the most, he had this to say.
Somewhere in the last hour of my shift, someone, and it had been actually very slow at that point, someone had dropped a $50 bill into the jar.
Derek also shared a personal story about what the pride flag means to him.
I remember going to Montreal to see the boy that I was dating at the time. This must have been about 5 years ago. And we hugged in the bus station, and this gentleman came over and was quite verbally abusive to us. And this boy had grown up in Wilton, which was another pretty affluent and accepting community, and he just couldn't get his head around that there are spaces in the world that are not, welcoming or safe. And I had to remind him that, the world is not always very welcoming and safe. So when you have signals like this that you can be who you want to be, it's a big deal.
A big deal indeed. And what is Molten Java's message to the public?
I guess, our message is there's space for everyone. There's space for everyone, there's space for everything. The world is large and confusing and multidimensional, and so again, it's not just about the queer community, but it's about the Bethel community. And no matter who you are, whether you're marginalized or you're a top dog, you can come in and feel like you have a slice of shelter.
All are welcome at Molten Java, so come on down for your caffeine fix with maybe a little bit of love on the side. Reporting for The Pulse at Sacred Heart University, I am John J. Mudgett. If you or someone you know is a member of the LGBTQ+ community and you need someone to talk to, you can contact the LGBTQ National Hotline at 1-888-843-4564.
Working from home can be a real pain in the neck, literally. Matt Krecky has more details on why.
When the pandemic began, people started working from home to protect their health. However, could working from home be impacting your health in a negative way?
When everything closed down back in March of last year and businesses started sending everybody home, there was an uncertainty. No one knew really what to expect. So they were making makeshift offices. The kitchen tables weren't designed to be desks. So people are at their dining room tables or kitchen tables in really unergonomically sound chairs and tables for hours at a time. So instead of the ergonomically correct chair, which would have them upright in a proper postural position, they'll be slouching over like this. In fact, the new patient last week of a young lady who was working at it for bed. She didn't have a desk set up. And of course, she came in with neck pain, back pain.
There's a huge stand-up movement now, stand-up desks.
The most ideal workstation is more of a combination of sitting and standing.
The most important thing is to change your positions throughout the day.
Most people are not. They'll get into their work and they'll be in a certain position for a good 2-3 hours before they realize, oh, wait a minute here, my neck is bothering me, my back is hurting, I have a headache.
You want to have a comfortable chair where your ergonomics are great, your posture is great, you have a good height for your laptop, so you avoid things like carpal tunnel or excessive leaning forward through your hips, because that can bother your lower back, so forth and so on. And it's really the same message I used to give people when they were working in an office.
Big difference is that when you're in a normal work setting, there's a natural flow.
If you're in an office setting or whatever, it takes a minute. Go to the water fountain and come back. Pretend to go to the bathroom and come back. Whatever it is, just move.
And I find when people are at home, they don't know the boundaries anymore. They feel like they're working all day long. They don't know when to stop. They don't know when to go for a walk. They don't know when to have a bathroom break. And so what's happening is they're in these positions longer and longer over a longer period of time, which is presenting more problems. One of the things that have not been mentioned over the past year, and we've seen various other healthcare experts talk about vaccines and social distancing and quarantine, but not one time has somebody gotten up and said, take better care of yourself.
And the best way to take care of ourselves?
Well, other than going to see a chiropractor, of course.
Sleep and eat well and exercise and drink lots of water.
Once you get out and start moving, everything will come back.
Don't try to make up for the last 15 months.
We'll start very, very lightly and very gently.
Start with walking. If you were a runner, don't go out and try to, do what you did in your last run 15 months ago. But you want to start to stretch.
As people move back to work or continue to work from home, it is important to remember to listen to your body and to know that
movement is medicine.
For the Pulse, Matt Krecky, Fairfield, Connecticut.
After the break, a key new addition in Stamford this summer, and a sit-down interview with Sacred Heart student helping those in need. All that coming up next.
As summer approaches, life is finally starting to head back towards normalcy. The organization behind the popular Alive at 5 event in Stamford, Connecticut, has announced this year's outdoor sculpture exhibit, and you might just play a key part. Here is Justin DeCausey with a sneak peek.
Founded in 1992, Stamford Downtown is a nonprofit business improvement district whose mission is to enhance, manage, and promote the downtown experience. They offer an array of attractions, including arts, entertainment, education, restaurants, shopping, and live events. They have spent the last year focusing on events to help bring revenue for the downtown restaurants. One of Stamford Downtown's can't-miss events is Art in Public Spaces, an outdoor sculpture exhibit designed to showcase the local art community. Through this event alone, the organization has worked with more than 300 exceptionally talented artists.
Every year we come up with a new idea. Some years are interactive, such as this year with the piano project. Other years it's existing art that are on loan to us for the summer.
This year's exhibit, The Piano Project, will feature pianos that are painted by local artists and then placed outside for the public to play. Usually, the finalists use the public art studio that allows the public to come and visit. However, due to the pandemic, they are offering a different option.
They can choose whether they want to work in our public art studio, which is right here on Broad Street, or they can take the piano and bring it to their home and work on it in their studio. Just have it back here in the middle of May, and it'll be out from June to probably through October this year.
136 hand-drawn designs were submitted for this year's exhibit, which was then narrowed down to 50. Those 50 designs were presented to sponsors who will pick one design to be displayed outside of their building for a price tag of $6,000. Once the design is chosen, The artist has 4 to 8 weeks to paint their pianos. I spoke to David Maccarelli, a finalist who has participated in almost every exhibit since 2010, to talk about his inspiration for his piano.
I thought back to, okay, what can I do with a piano? And there was a bar that I went to when I was in New Orleans, and it had Cat in the name, and it was a piano bar. And I was like, a piano bar. And then I took that and made it into a piano club, so it wasn't overtly alcohol promoting. And then I took some of my old stagecraft techniques of doing faux finishes and bricks and stone and all that, and the result is this bar behind you.
As Annette said earlier, this year's exhibit will be interactive. Not only can the public play the pianos, but spectators will be able to use the AutoCast app on their phones to tune into this event virtually.
That's going to have a interactive map, so you could either do it from wherever you are and you could see where they are, or it'll show you like the one you're standing in front of, and it'll have a picture of the piano. It'll also have a recorded little announcement from each of the artists.
Once the Art in Public Spaces event is over, Stanford Downtown plans to auction off all the pianos, donating a portion of the proceeds to Project Music, a local charity here in Stanford. For updates on this event and others, visit stanford-downtown.com. For The Pulse, Justin DeCausey, Stanford, Connecticut.
I think those piano lessons some people were forced to take as kids are finally going to come in handy.
Oh, definitely. That sounds like a great place to go to this summer.
Yeah.
And now we head on over to Andrew Kane with his guest, Sacred Heart undergrad student Stephanie Incarnation, to discuss how she has been helping the homeless.
Thank you, Kristen. I'm here with Stephanie Incarnation, a first-year student at Sacred Heart. Stephanie is an accounting major and has spent many hours volunteering for Off the Streets Bridgeport, a nonprofit organization that helps the homeless obtain places to live. She joins us here in the studio today to share with us her story. Stephanie, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So before we get into it, tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
So I'm originally from Rhode Island. I'm from Northern Rhode Island. I'm an accounting major, like you said, and I chose Sacred Heart because they have a really good business program here. I love the campus, and everybody was so friendly and welcoming.
Awesome. And tell us more about what exactly you do. I noticed when I was doing research that you do grant applications for Off the Streets.
I do. So I research grants, so different nonprofits, banks that have foundations, things like that. We choose grants that we think will be good for our organization, and then we just write the application. It's a very long and tedious process, but it's totally worth it.
I bet. And how has the writing aspect of your volunteer work helped your studies?
Our chief grant writer, Kevin Nicholas, he does a really good job going through all of our answers. He's really thorough, really detail oriented, and he gives us great feedback. And I've noticed like a couple patterns in my writing that I've actually noticed throughout my schoolwork as well. So I've been able to like change those and have really strong writing skills.
That's great. And you've been working a lot with Gerard, the director of Off the Streets. And how has it been working with him? And tell me more about the support you're receiving.
He is wonderful. Everybody at Off the Streets is wonderful. They cheer us on. They're like, you're doing such good work. Like, don't stop. Like, no matter if you get a rejection, which I have, they're like, you know what, as long as you keep trying, you put your nose to the grindstone, like, you'll get an okay one day. They're really awesome. He really has a passion for this organization and everything that it stands for, and he puts his all into it, and he's wonderful to work with.
Excellent. And finally, do you have any advice for students or anyone else looking to get involved, whether it's Off the Streets or any other organization?
Well, I would love for you to come volunteer with Off the Streets. I think it's wonderful. But just volunteering in general, it's totally go for it. Like, there is an organization out there that is passionate about what you're passionate for. They will use every single gift and talent that you have, and it's very, very rewarding to see what you do help other people. Like, there is nothing that will ever compare to it, so just go for it and do it.
Stephanie, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
If you've enjoyed this segment and want to learn more about Off the Streets Bridgeport, please visit www.otsbridgeport.com.
Coming up after the break, we will show you 2 spots up the road that you will definitely want to visit in these warmer months.
After all your hard work, the studying, practices, and rehearsals, you deserve the best for what's next, the best in Connecticut higher education. Outstanding nursing and health professions programs, premier learning facilities and world-class tech labs, a nationally ranked business school, modern residential, social, and recreational facilities, championship D1 athletics, and pro-level performing arts. Make your next step the best step. Apply now to Sacred Heart University.
Located in the biggest city in Connecticut is Sacred Heart University, and just up the road is a farm, Silvermans Farm, in rural Easton. After a year of the pandemic, Silvermans is ready to usher in spring.
Located in Easton, Connecticut, Silvermans Farm, founded by Penn Silverman, has been a tourist attraction since its conception 100 years ago. Tapping itself the total farm experience, Silvermans provides its guests with everything from fruit and vegetable picking to tractor rides to even an animal farm that the whole family can enjoy.
It started out as a vegetable and fruit farm. My dad moved up here after the First World War and started working on cow farms and saving up money and buying his first piece of land. And they started little by little raising apple trees, peach trees, fruits and vegetables. As the years grew on, I took over after college, and we've expanded into what we call agritourism, because so many people today don't see farms anymore like they did 30, 40, and 50 years ago. So kids come up to pick an apple right off a tree or a peach, or go see animals in our animal farm. It's a great experience for the kids.
While fruits are the most popular product sold, this local farm also features a broad selection of vegetables, spices, fresh apple cider, honey, delicious baked goods, and even a colorful collection of flowers.
Basically, our market is split up between perishables and non-perishables or hard goods. So that would include the different lotions we have. We sell Silvermans Farm t-shirts, as well as some other brands of clothing, and some other stuff that we would classify as just kind of country knickknacks, whether it be candles or walking sticks and things like that. And we really have a small team. It's really only about 2 or 3 people that their focus is on staging those products and getting those products displayed so that they're ready to be marketed.
Throughout its 100 years history, Silvermans has maintained an old-time family-friendly atmosphere, which can truly be felt when visiting the petting zoo. Not only can guests look at the barn animals and fowl, but they can also feed them.
First things we start picking in the spring are strawberries, which is about the second week in June. After that, raspberries towards the end of June, and blueberries. And blueberries we have all pick your own, so customers can come up with their kids and pick their own blueberries and raspberries. About the middle of July, peaches start. Then people again can come up and pick their own peaches right off the trees. As we go along, as I said, blueberries about the end of June. Then we get to about middle August, and then it's apples from middle August right through October, because we have over 25 different varieties of apples. Some apples start in August, some in September, and others in October. So the reason for many varieties of apples is so your window of picking is longer, because each apple ripens at a different time.
In the autumn, Silvermans celebrates Oktoberfest with over 20 different varieties of squashes, gourds, corn sticks, and mums, as well as with their scenic tractor rides.
My message to folks is when you come to Silvermans Farm, enjoy every minute of it, soak it all in, relax a little bit, and always shop local. There's a lot more farms just like us, and there's farms that specialize in a lot of different areas of the world and different products. So definitely just always try to shop local, keep it local, and support your small farms.
Whether you are looking to experience some Connecticut history or simply want to revel in the beauty of nature, Silvermans Farm is the place to be. Reporting for the Pulse, Raneem Al-Jabri, Easton, Connecticut.
Well, April showers have brought May flowers, and we have a perfect story showcasing just that. Here is Claire Seacrest with a heartwarming story on another place you will want to visit.
This field of flowers in Reading may seem like an average field, but it has a whole lot of history. And for those who live here, they see it as much more than just a field.
Reading views the Daffodil Field like a town treasure. It was kind of a Reading secret for the last 20 years.
Stacy has lived next to the field for years now. She says Henry McQuaid, or Bud as those who knew him called him, never meant for the field to be a secret. He planted the nearly 3 acres of daffodils on his property in his wife's honor after she died in 1999. The more the field grew, the more the town got involved.
And as time went on and he got older, people in the town would help him. The Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, just members of town would volunteer to help him divide the bulbs year after year so that they would expand the field. And now the field is almost 3 acres of daffodils.
The planting went on for over 20 years, with Bud letting anyone come by and visit his field. He would chat with everyone admiring the daffodils. But in 2019, Bud passed away. He was 103 years old. Stacy knew she couldn't let this field go to waste.
He didn't know that I was actually going to buy the field. After he passed away, that's when I approached his family and asked if I could buy the field.
Stacy asked Bud's family for the entire property, including Bud's old home for her mother to live in.
This home is literally across the street from my house. It's a smaller house. It's on one level. It's just a small 2-bedroom ranch, and it's perfect. Obviously, Bud lived here till 103, so it's perfectly set up for someone older, and I literally can help her, as she ages in the home.
Stacy says her mom and whole family love the daffodils and plan on honoring Bud's memory by welcoming anyone who wants to come see his flowers. On an average spring day here in Reading, there's cars stopping all alongside the road and people coming to walk the field. Stacy said they have over 100 people a day during the prime spring months. It's a token to the beauty Bud's created. For Bud, the field symbolized much more than beautiful flowers.
He goes, this land is meant to be used by someone to use it in a way that brings them happiness, and doing the flowers is what brought him happiness. And he really said whoever gets it next, whether if they want to preserve it, that would be great, and he would love that. But he believes that he kind of believed in happiness and freedom, and wanted the next person to do whatever made them happy.
For the Pulse, Claire Seacrest, Reading.
What a great history. Not something you expect when you first see a field of flowers. That's definitely somewhere that I would like to visit. Well, that's all for our show this week.
We hope to see you next time on The Pulse.